Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
Edition of Money Radio on Leadership Podcast. Money Radio is that program that brings you the latest developments in Nigeria's business and economy cycles and issues of businesses around the world. My name is Innocent Odo, and today we'll have a very interesting topic. It has to do with the federal government's directive to the National Agency for Science, Engineering and Infrastructure, NASENI, to ensure that the agency reverses all the foreigners who are coming in here to take over the jobs of Nigerians artisans. So the federal government has taken a bold step to ensure that they equip our own artisans with technical skill and the workforce needed to change the narrative. It used to be in the past that even smaller countries like Benin Republic, Cote d'Ivoire, and the rest of them actually sending their artisans here to come in and take the jobs that are available here in Nigeria. And so with this directive made by the federal government on Monday, the NASENI has taken a bold step to ensure that they equip our own artisans in Nigeria to be able to reverse the trend, in which foreign artisans come into the country to dominate this business. And so we're looking at the issues arising from that federal government directive. We're looking at, even though it is a very positive development, we're interrogating how possible it will be to implement it in the short term, in the long and the medium term, and in the long term. And of course, to see what benefits it will bring to the Nigerian people, especially now that we're talking about reducing youth unemployment. It has become incumbent on the federal government and all the stakeholders in this industry to ensure that our own artisans are protected and given the right equipment and the technical competence to be able to take over the jobs available in the country and also export their skills outside the country in order to also generate the needed foreign exchange for the country. We are going to look at this in details and, of course, the various dimensions that will make up this very important topic. And I'm not alone in the studio. I'm here with my regular guest, Haniel Jafaru, who is an ICT expert. He is also very versatile in issues concerning other aspects of job creation in the country, being, of course, a very credible analyst on TV and on radio. And so we're going to do justice with my guest, who is Haniel Jafaru. Haniel, welcome to the program.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Now, the issue of trying to engage the youths, has become a very dominant issue in Nigeria. And of course, you know that campaign officially starts today.
True.
And so the political parties have something on the table already, if they can as well take the advantage by trying to ensure that the directive of the federal government is perfected in such a way that we also engage our own artisans in the country to be able to take the job opportunities here. Now, how do you really see that the directive by the federal government to NASENI, that's the National Agency for Science, Engineering and Infrastructure?
Well, it's a good initiative. That's one. Two, it's a welcome development. They have done well to have mandated NASENI to ensure that they reduce the numbers of foreign artisans that we have in the country. However, it's sad that they are reducing NASENI's job to that extent, because NASENI as an agency, its job is largely research.
Yes.
So what has NASENI got to do with ensuring that the foreign artisans and they stop foreign artisans from coming into the country to reduce? I think that largely is the job of immigration, to ensure that people don't get into this country without necessary visa and all the necessary apparatus that they're coming in to do. And also when they overstay their welcome, they leave. Yet, so when you say foreigners are coming into the country to take the artisan job, is it on legal basis? What are they coming to do? Is it that, are we talking about foreign artisans around the West African sub-Saharan region?
Yes, the issue is this. It is not common knowledge that when you go to an area where, like a construction site now, you see most of the artisans, those who do the plumbing work, for instance, the tilings, and the rest of them, are usually, because if you want, that's what they say, if you want to get the best, you have to get people from either Benin Republic, from neighboring Ghana, and Cote d'Ivoire, so smaller West African countries. You can also get some from North Africa. So then I'm saying that, look, yes, it might be, it might not necessarily be the one of the areas of interest for NASENI. But remember that NASENI also deals with issue of technical competence, building capacity of Nigerians in areas that can help create infrastructure job, and of course provide the necessary infrastructure for them to be able to attain that objective. So I think that's where NASENI actually came in, because right now they are in Ibadan, Oyo State, on skill development and trying to equip the young people with this kind of technical skill, and of course giving them the necessary tools to be able to advance that kind of a project. So I think they have, it's part of what they should have done. Maybe it's a subsidiary activity on their side, but it has become important that the federal agency should, in fact, drive this objective.
What I think NASENI can do is to impact the technical know-how and not to prevent the recruitment.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah. So when they impact the technical know-how, it is still the job of the person that needs the service to decide.
Yeah, but you know what they say, desperate situations also deserve desperate measures. So maybe it's out of desperation that they are saying, but basically, not necessarily because they might stop the skill, people who have the skill from coming in, but more to equipping Nigerians also to get to the level or even better standards than those people coming here. Because we discovered, I have a friend who is into construction, all the artisan work around it. Now he told me that the thing is being dominated by foreigners, and they get the best from foreigners, probably even cheaper, moderate, let me not say cheaper, but moderate prices than even Nigerians. So you can see that those who have the technical competence for those kind of jobs are coming in droves and are taking over the jobs of Nigerians. And we think that it's actually not a normal thing for us to do that.
It's not. It's a simple thing. We try as much as possible. We keep what's it called? We try as much as possible to pour away both the baby and the dirty water. Yeah. You get. You would sit down to analyze these things. It's not rocket science to sit down, bring data together and say, okay, why are these guys better? Why are they taking over our jobs? Is it that they have the strength more than us in terms of, I'm talking about power now. Is it that they have the technical know-how more than us, or is it that they're using a tool that we don't have?
Yeah.
Yet, if you have been able to come up with the data, and based on your data analysis, you've been able to find out that, okay, the area that we are lagging behind is in the area of intellectual or technical skill, then NASENI would now come, okay, let's take up a research to see how Nigerians can be more technically impacted than others. Even in the area of technology, let's look at the tools, the technological tools that these guys are using that Nigerians can develop or get that will make Nigerians better. It is when you have somebody that sews with sew clothes, for example, with an electric machine, and someone that sews clothes with a manual machine, you will get better job with someone that sews with an electric machine than someone that sews with the manual machine that you use, pedal machine. You get the numbers of job the person can do that sews with an electric machine will be more, because the machine is faster, it's more accurate, it's more effective compared to that of the pedal machine. So now, what is it now the job of is it now the problem of the tailor, for example, or the challenge of the machine? Okay, so let's look at the equipment these guys are working with. Because eventually, if they are working with advanced equipment, it invariably means that they will do more jobs normally than a regular equipment, and that means they would want to charge lower.
Yes,
because they would want to charge lower because they're using more advanced tool. they are getting more jobs done. So for effective turnover, they want to charge lower. So all these things there are things you put on the table to analyze before you take decisions. You can't just say, okay, let's go and train. Then you go and train. At the end of the day, you find out that training is not the problem. The problem is actually the tools that they are using.
Interesting.
Yes. So let's not just rush and take desperate situation bring forth needs desperate measures. But before you take desperate measures, let there be desperate analysis.
I like that narrative. Yes, desperate analysis.
True.
But yes, of course, the issue is that we have a problem on our hands. The Nigerian young people are not getting the jobs, and we have a very youthful population. Of course, among the 33.3% unemployment rate in Nigeria, the current figure now has a large chunk of youth unemployment in that figure. And so once you talk about intellectual analysis of what the problem is, providing the tools as well, and then building the capacity in terms of technical equipment to be able to promote this kind of project, it becomes very, very desirable to do so. But then the challenge has always been programs like these will end up in workshops. Like they are going across the Federation to sensitize people and then making declarations and pronouncements and, of course, policy directives. And this one happened in Ibadan on Monday. Now, we have had this in the past. I do not know what it will take for us to be able to harness this type of resources that we all talk about. Building capacity for Nigerian youth, is it rocket science, really? And at this age in time, look at what we are competing with. People from Benin Republic, for God's sake. Chad, for instance. So in the things that we normally do the best, we normally provide the best in this area. It's not as if we're lacking in this skill. Suddenly, how did we come to a point where our own skills are not even sellable again within our own country, such that we have to depend on foreigners from Benin Republic? Is that as a result of the fact that we have collapsing technical schools? Because I understand in the past we used to have vocational technical schools and all that. What has happened to this type of institutions that were once churning out great minds and great technical guys with technical ability?
Well, the technical schools, they are still there, only that they've all deviated from the whole idea of running a technical arm of impacting technical knowledge. Because most of them now, it's now let's go to universities. It's all cut across the whole standard that we have created for ourselves as a country. NAPTEP is supposed to be the educational qualification for polytechnics.
Yes.
NECO and WAEC is supposed to be the educational qualification for university because it is more of science and research based. Now, polytechnic are supposed to be largely for technological and vocational based institution. It's aimed at ensuring that you go there, you get the technical know-how, you come out, you start practicing. Yes. But now, what's the case? It started with now the labor market now requested for HND students. Why? Because they will pay them cheaper. So people now rush to get HND, get HND because it's easier for them to get jobs because the labor market are needing them more because they will pay them cheaper compared to BSc students who are degree and science-based, research-based program. Now, making polytechnic in its core essence to leave the drive of ensuring that knowledge is technical knowledge is impacted, to now towing the line of academic knowledge. This is the root. Yes. This is the root cause of the whole challenge. So now the universities are there producing graduates that are research based. Polytechnic are also trying to compete with university and producing graduates that will tow in the line of research. But meanwhile, their core aim is ensuring that it is technical, hands-on that you're supposed to be doing. Now we begin to see polytechnic running science-based courses like computer science. Yes. University running science-based courses like computer science. Polytechnic running accountancy. These polytechnic are supposed to be technical. their aim, the way they were designed, the way they were developed, it's supposed to be technical. That's why they even designed an SSC program for them, which is NAFTEP.
Yes.
Okay. So now, because we have now deviated from the core essence, the core mandate, it's affecting now the job persons that are supposed to be doing engaging in that profession. How many polytechnic in Nigeria run Campitry as a course in their polytechnic? How many polytechnic runs fashion design? How many polytechnic run? There are new skills that are coming up.
Of course.
You get like the OPVC and what's it called? Plumbing and all those things. These are things you can actually go to school to learn. But we have the polytechnic have somewhat neglected their own core mandate and begin to compete with university. That's why they have to ensure that, okay, let there be equivalent salary for both HND student and BSc students. But hello, BSc, they are more academic based. They are designed to ensure that they impact knowledge on people to carry out research. Polytechnic is supposed to be technical based, impacting knowledge on people to ensure that they do the hands-on. So if we have missed it from that end, invariably it means that that's the whole essence of what we are finding.
Now the result is not funny at all. It has given us a very something to worry about.
True.
Where we have a competition. We don't even have a competition even in our own country, where foreigners will have to take over this type of jobs. I think it is, like you said, better late than never. If the government had decided to wake up from that slumber and to re-engage Nigerians, re-energize and refocus that sector, I think it's a welcome development, just like you said in the beginning. But having said that, you have just enumerated some of the problems that we have had, even in the institutions that are supposed to drive this process. They have lost focus, they are deviated, and they are not about even trying to revert to the original formula that created them and to begin to reinvent themselves so that they can engage our people. Why we're saying all this is because this is business, and the business has to do with job creation. Now, you can imagine the quantum of jobs that we're losing, our young people are losing, by not being able to acquire the skills needed to drive this sector of the economy. Now, one may say that some of the criminal behavior that we see in the country today is because our people have failed to acquire the Nigerian government has failed to give our people the requisite skills to develop. Now, sometime 2 days ago, there was this young man, and permit me to digress a bit. There's this young man whom I don't want to mention his name here, who has been identified as a kidnapper. He was just paraded in the Bayelsa State with his friends. He comes on social media to tell young people, hustle, splashing dollars on social media. And such a person is looking like this is somebody that the youth are looking up to, without knowing that this guy is somebody who is into a very nefarious business. Now, you can imagine if we have technical areas where people can acquire skills in different dimensions and coming to practice their skill. Wouldn't it reduce the impact of what we are seeing in our society, where young men are being driven into criminality just because they want to impress whatever they want to do?
It's just what we're seeing is a cascade. It's more of like a cascading effect from the top. They lose money at the top. Those at the bottom also want to benefit from it. So whatever way they will ensure that they benefit from that money, whether directly or indirectly, they want to benefit from it. Now, if you meet these Yahoo guys, they will tell you that they are trying to bring in money that was sent out. No. Look at this analogy.
Yes.
That the money that our politicians stole and took out of the country, they are trying to bring it out, bring it back using that means. You get, without I say directly or indirectly.
Yes.
It's sad. It's sad. Once we're able to get it right at the top, most of these things will find their place. That's the truth of it. Most of these things will find their place. Where's the place of apprenticeship?
I was about to talk about
where's the place of apprenticeship? There is no place of apprenticeship. I went to my tailor recently, And I was telling him that he was complaining to me that he's the only one in the shop. I said, no, you can't say that you're the only one in the shop. There are youths that want to learn. You get, most of you decide to do is to chase these guys away. Now you've chased these guys away, you're doing the job, you can't meet up with the demand, and you want to, at the end of the day, you find out that you are not able to meet up with the demand, and people are complaining, and people are tagging you all sorts of names because you're unable to meet up with the demand. What stops you from going to the street looking for one or two persons that you know don't know anything about this thing? Bring them, train them. Teach this one. I want to train you how to iron. I want to train you how to sew. I want to train you how to knit. I want to train them specifically. Now you just sit and you supervise them, and you find out that there's division of labor, and in turn, you're meeting your demands. Only you cannot do this job. You have to embed the concept of division of labor. That's why it came to be. Where most of them, what they do is that they give you, before you come to learn job, they give you one, as if you want to go for marriage. They give you a list that somebody that wants to learn that kind of job, that list is too much. Give a huge list that before it will take you 6 months to gather. Meanwhile, the person that wants to learn the job has not eaten. So how do you expect the person to gather that amount of money to get for the apprenticeship payment for that duration of time? Meanwhile, the person is hungry. So eventually, the person will prefer not to learn the job. Instead, look for daily bread, what he would use to eat and survive. So we have lost touch with the apprenticeship program, where you go to a store and you go to a fashion shop, and you will see the guy, the owner of the fashion, proud to put his certificate at the wall, saying that he has been freed by his boss. We have lost touch of all that. Okay. These were things that used to drive our artisans. These are things that used to drive competencies, but we've lost touch. So if we've lost touch with the academic angle, we've lost touch with the formal angle, we've lost touch with the informal angle. So where do you want to get it from?
We need to get back. We need to get back all of them, the formal and informal angle. All of them have to come together once again to drive this, because we are seeing a lot of things in our society that we are not really proud of. Our young people who are supposed to engage in these artisanal, occupations, to give them a means of livelihood, are abandoning this and are joining very criminal gangs, Yahoo Plus, kidnapping, and that's what they think will give them easy money. And so we have to dissuade them. We have to change the narrative, the culture of trying to live a life using meaningful and legal, ways of making money in the society. And now we're going into campaign. Our time is fleeting, and this is just part of what we're supposed to see, or what we're supposed to be hearing, or the agenda we're supposed to set for the people who aspire to lead Nigeria in 2023. Now the young people are there, and the unemployment rate is really, really alarming. And there is no hope. Let me not lose hope in our country. There's some level of pessimism that if adequate measures are not taken to forestall this high rising inflation in the country, unemployment in the country, the nation might find it difficult to cope with the consequences of youth implosion, youth explosion, whatever they call it, if we don't engage these young guys in something meaningful to do. So I'm afraid that it has become incumbent on all of us, be it me and you in the studio here, in the government agencies who are supposed to harness the resources.
But I'm part of the youth.
Are you still part of the youth?
Well, they see, as you earlier mentioned, it's really beyond workshop. NASENI is doing it, but in fact, I was going through their budget, and I found out that major chunk of their budget goes on salary. In fact, they just have 70. I don't know how true that budget is, but it's actually it became a thing of concern to me that 95% of their budget goes on operational and recurrent cost. Less than 5 goes on capital. Yet, so what impact would that 5% do as a research organization? They won't be able to carry out research. The best they can do is just to do that workshop, and it ends there, because workshop is largely for sensitization. The workshop is largely for sensitization. There's a place where they have to be strategic in their implementation. I told you earlier on, they need to first carry out their research. After research, they will now engage in strategic implementation. You don't just implement.
Yes.
Everything is implemented strategically. You need to now look at, because you need to gauge your implementation. You need to monitor your implementation. You need to monitor the performance of your implementation.
Yes.
You don't just go and implement without monitoring performance. Yes. Now, most of them that they've gone to Ibadan to do whatsoever workshop they want to do, it ends there. There is no follow-up. There's no check back to ensure feedback to ensure that, okay, would you be going for training? What training would you be going for? How can we help you? These are the schools that offer this. These are the recognized training institutes that we have in the country that can train you. Artisan training institute. These are, if they don't have, they put it on the table. Okay, in our 2023 budget, this is what we want to do. We want to set up 20 artisan-based training institutes across the country, among the geographical, geopolitical zones, to ensure that, okay, everyone that wants to learn certain specific skill, go to this institute, get trained, get empowered, they are giving startup capital to start. Before you know what's happening, we'll begin to compete, and we'll now have more than enough to drop the cost and begin to export the skill. It's really a simple thing. It's just that we don't have the technical know-how, we don't have the political will to ensure that we drive this. And again, the fund is not available for the agents.
Wow, that's a very important issue that you just raised here. The funding, of course, is one of the things that is hindering the performance of agencies of government. I also remember we have a National Directorate of Employment. We also sometimes, but we don't have the time now, we may also interrogate their involvement in creating jobs of this nature. But that will be when we come next time. And I must thank you very much, Hanel Jafar, for joining us again in looking at this very important topic of trying to reverse the trend of foreigners coming here to take our own jobs, meant for our own artisans. So if you're still with us, we're talking about the federal government's decision to reverse or order to reverse the recruitment of foreign artisans in Nigeria. And so I've been in the studio with Hanel Jafar, doing justice to this very important topic. It's on this note that we draw the curtains on today's edition of Morning Radio on Leadership Podcast. I remain Innocent Odo, your host, and I say goodbye for now and God bless you.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.